Are we gonna organize this place behind me? No, we're not. I've got so many things coming. I've got things being shipped to me. I've got things coming from all over the place. We're gonna turn this room behind me into a true plant room coming up soon. But before we get to all of that, I've got a couple just remedial little tasks that we need to accomplish, little planty tasks that me and you can do together. And that's what this video today is gonna be about. And did I mention I've also got an unboxing? I've got a plant that I've never even seen in a box, waiting right out there. But this is not where we're hanging out today. Today we're hanging out back over this way. Now the idea, Now the idea that sparked this video today was this pilea, peperomia right here. I bought this plant, I don't know, a few months ago from someone who had just kind of grown it into this giant mother plant version of what it is right now. I actually thought we had two, but I think we have 1, 2, and then our third one back over here. We're gonna repot this mother pilea plant here, and we're gonna pull all these little pups out and we're gonna get them into their own little pots as well. So one little side project that I've been working on is these cement pots. Take a good look. Of course, we've got our drain hole that I'm always ranting about. We're gonna plant our mother pilea in my newest cement creation, which has a crack down the side, and I'm a little bit concerned about, but you know what? It's all an experiment, and we'll just see how it goes. So we're gonna plant the mother plant in this pot right here. We're gonna plant one of the babies in my little tiny, this is my newest little cement mold that I've got, pot right here. And I've only had a chance to make one of those, so I've got a couple little wooden pots that I found in a flea market not too long ago. We actually got to drill some drain holes in these guys, but we're gonna plant the other two babies in these little pots right here. And at the end of this video, we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 pots. 1, 2, 3, 4 little pilea pots sitting on the counter. I've got to pull this plant out of here. And this is always the part that makes you a little bit nervous. You got to kind of get your hands in there and you got to pull it out. You can already see the mother kind of flopping around. But when you're doing this sort of stuff, guys, don't worry about it, because plants are a little bit more resilient than you think they are. And you can't, beat them up too much. But you can do quite a bit to these guys. And pulling them up by their roots out of a pot, it's really no big deal for them. In fact, I think this mother, finally being relieved of these 3 little pups that she's been growing in this container. Whew. I just can't imagine she ain't gonna feel nothing but amazing after this. All right, I think I've got about everything here. I've yanked the plant out of the pot. Step 1, complete. One of the nice things about repotting your plants is that you always get to make sure that everything is living in your own, if you're like me, in your own custom, but pretty simplistic soil mix of, compost, a little bit of peat moss and some perlite, sometimes a few other additives. The point is, it's a little bit of a rare occurrence when you get to repot your plants, and it's a little bit even more special when you're getting to do it with a mature pilea peperomioide like we're working with right here. Just want to sort of gently work your fingers into the soil there, and pull out everything that's not plant. I really feel like I should be giving you an up-close shot of this, but how? How is the question? And basically, you just want to sort of work as much as you can out. In fact, let's just do the whole separation while we've got this whole thing going on here. I'll try and give you, we've still got our 3 little babies here. I'll try and give you an up-close version as possible, but here is the mother plant right here. You see that? In fact, let's just go ahead and rip her off, and we'll make this whole thing a little bit easier. We're just gonna literally rip her. Oh, one of the babies went with. We'll deal with that in just a second. Boom, 2 different pilea plants. We've got our little baby that held onto the mother. We're gonna get in here and just kind of, we wanna get some roots with it. So make sure you get your fingers right in there at the base and try and pull some. On this one, actually, I think I'm even gonna grab my scissors. I just wanna make sure I get some roots. You see how I made sure to get some of the roots with that little baby there? 1, 2, 3 new little pilea plants. Plus the original mother plant that we're gonna plant back in a brand new pot. Whew, and now we can finally get to some good camera angles. I can finally sit down at the table and stop bending over like this. Again, these are some cement pots that I've been working on the side. I actually made these things myself. I have like a silicone mold, and it's actually a pretty easy process. I think in the pretty near future, I'm gonna make a video about how I actually make these cement pots. But this is the one right here that our mother plant is gonna live in. This is one of the little things that I don't think most people think about, that I've been thinking about recently. When you're actually potting up a plant, there is this moment at the end where you do kind of want to like put some pressure on the actual surface of the soil in there. You don't want to compress it down like ridiculously, you know? But you do want to make sure to give it, you know, sort of a good like press down. And then I say throw a little bit more on top and kind of, you know, fluffy it all up a little bit. Let's move my bucket out of here. I want to get this pole. I'm going to use the same pole. I was thinking about using a moss pole, but I think I'm just going to use this same basic pole that it's been living with as its support. If you don't have any of these, you need to get some on Amazon. This is 100 meters of, I don't know what that is in inches or whatever, but it's 100 meters of twist ties. Basically, I can take a little strand of this stuff. Comes with this built-in presser. Watch this. Boom. Now I've got me a little twist tie I can twist around this plant. I like to get it nice and close. Can you even see that? I like to get it nice and close. The twist tie, that is. Well, I've knocked some leaves off, so you should be able to see now. And then you just twist up like that. As long as you get it around once, then you're good to go. And I think at this point we've put this plant through enough stress. We're gonna set this mother aside. Let's have a little bit of sympathy for her. We've stripped her of her children. We're ripping off all of her leaves. Might as well clean up the other ones that ain't so good. And from here, girl, you can do what you want to do. You want to pop out a couple more pups? I'm all for it. We'll put some more out into the world. But for now, I just want you to live your life in my new cement pot. It's got a little bit of a defect in the side, like I mentioned from before. I'm just watching that. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Now we've got to move on to our 3 little babies in here. We've got to get them separated. And I keep forgetting that we've still got a plant in this box to unwrap at the end of this video. And now before we go any further, I mentioned that I have one of my own little pot creations for one of the babies. And then the other 2 little pots that we're going to use for the other babies are just some flea market finds, just some little planters that I thought would be excellent. But there's one thing missing in these planters. They don't have a drain hole on the bottom. And if you've seen my how to grow houseplants video, you'll know that every pot must have a drain hole in the bottom. It's just one of those things that makes growing plants a whole lot easier. And before we move any further, we've got to take our trusty drill. Just got a basic drill bit here. And it's simple as that. We just got to drill through this thing and make some drain holes in these 2 pots. Fortunately, these pots were wood, so it was even easier to drill through these, but usually I would use a diamond drill bit to drill through things like clay or ceramic or anything like that. Now we've just got a nice little way for the water to escape out the bottom of this pot here. Do an up close shot into my own cement pot here. Can't really see it, can you? Basically I just made a mess. And those are the last. So 1, 2, 3. Dig a little trench. I think I'm gonna put our biggest one in my handmade cement pot. Plant in there. We'll get some soil. Sometimes you just gotta make a mess on your table. So we've got our mother pilea back here, and her new little tot to sit in front of her. Should we get a nice shot of you two? Nice shot of the family together. It's not the whole family quite yet, but no, we'll get there soon enough. I mentioned that I would typically be doing this outside, but today is particularly windy and blustery. You ever use that word blustery? I love that word blustery. You know what it reminds me of is Winnie the Pooh. Is that what it reminds you of? Blustery? Okay. There we go. We've got a new little baby pilea in one of our brand new little wood pots. I gotta get up close for this one. I think these are perfect. That was a match made in heaven when I found these little pots. And how cool that you can just drill a little drain hole in the bottom and turn essentially anything into a pot. And there we go. We've got our 3 baby pileas broken out. Now, if there's anything that I'm trying to get across in this video, it's not necessarily how do you separate baby plants from the mother plants. Really, what there is to all this stuff is you just have to understand that you can get in there and you can unroot a mother plant like this. You can take it out of its pot, you can rip those little babies off, you can be a little bit, what might be considered harsh with these things, and they're gonna be just fine. In fact, they're gonna grow into big, brand new mother plants. Each one of these little babies will one day look like this, given the proper care and all of that type of stuff. So, I guess by doing this with you, what I really aim to inspire you to do is to not be afraid to pull your plants up once a season or so, and to pull those new little babies off of there, to maybe try out some of the new little cement pots that you've been working on. You've been trying so hard to get the perfect cement to water ratio, which is actually a lot more difficult than you think it is. And finally now you get to use one of those new little cement pots that you've been creating to house. I don't know if it's one of my favorite plants, but it's definitely one of the most unique plants that we have in the houseplant world here. The pilea peperomioide, Chinese money plant. And how cool is that? I think I like the scientific pilea peperomioide more than I like the common name on this one. And usually I go the opposite. And finally, we can get to the unboxing. That's as exciting for you as it is for me. So let me get some sort of a blade so we can dig into this thing. Yep. We'll use our little scissors down here. Now I know what this is, but I have no idea what it looks like. And to be honest with you, I have no idea really. I have a little bit of general knowledge, but this is a whole new world for me. And you'll see why in just a minute. Okay. There we go. Got some paper and our for now, let's get the box aside. Let's actually get into this bag here. Let's see what it actually is. So I've read about these things for a little while. I've seen pictures of them. I've always kind of wondered. I'll give one word away. Carnivorous plants. When you think of a carnivorous plant, what do you think of? You probably think of a Venus flytrap, don't you? Because that's the ones that we've seen. I'm gonna rip this bag just so I can not have to pull this plant out of it like that. But this plant, whoa, holy smoke, sorry I dropped you. Whew. But this plant is a little bit of the lesser known, I have no idea if it's related to a Venus flytrap. It's a carnivorous plant though. So this is what's called a pitcher plant. I just want to delicately pull these little fronds off of here. And I'll show you in just a second. What we're actually working with here. Okay. So you see those little things dangling right there? That's where this plant gets the name pitcher plant. And what these little pitchers do is they're full of a little nectar or something that this plant produces, and it entices little bugs to crawl down into there and get a little slurp of it. And then once those bugs crawl down in there, they're not crawling back out. That's what they don't realize. And that's this whole pitcher plant's plan of attack, is it entices little bugs into these pitchers that it grows off of its tentacles here. And that's how this thing eats. How cool is that, right? What a weird, thing. I want to say fluke of nature, but it's not even a fluke of nature. It's just a different way of actually doing things. It's just simply a different way of eating and surviving that this thing has found out. And that's what I love so much about all of these new plants and all of the different varieties, is everything has a different way. Everything's kind of found its little groove, its little niche of how to survive in this world. And let's try and pull this picture out. And this one is just a more unique, at least in my opinion, a little bit slightly more unique way of actually doing it. So yeah, again, a carnivorous pitcher plant. What a cool little surprise from a Sweet Leaf Nursery. That was a video about taking a big grown-up mother pilea peperomioide plant and splitting its little babies off, as well as unboxing a new carnivorous pitcher plant right here. To be honest with you guys, this video was a bit of a filler. I've got a whole bunch of things going on. I've got a whole bunch of things in the mail getting shipped out to me, waiting to get assembled, to get put together. I've got all sorts of ideas for new projects and things floating around in my head. But this was just one of those things. This was just sort of general maintenance that I was doing on a regular day when you're dealing with a plant room like this. It doesn't quite hit you how obsessed you've gotten until the summer ends and you've pulled all of your plants inside and you realize that there's even still a few out there that you've got to drag in before the end of the night, before it starts, getting windy and rainy and all sorts of things. Again, we're expecting big storms down from Florida. There's hurricanes down in Florida. I haven't heard much about it. I hope everyone's okay, but we're kind of bracing ourselves for all of that madness tonight as well. That was pretty exciting, unboxing a new carnivorous plant. This is my first carnivorous plant anyway, so that's pretty monumental. But coming up soon is going to be all sorts of things. So I'm going to have all sorts of tips coming up that'll help you when you're moving your plants in from those summer sunshine rays into a more human environment like this plant room behind me, or at least I'll show you how I'm doing it anyways. Now these pilea peperomioide plants are one of the plants that I actually like to be pretty diligent on rotating with, so that they actually grow in a nice kind of circular globe-like fashion. See that with my fingers? And again, this is my first little set of cement pots. I can't wait to actually make a video and show you how I'm actually constructing these little pots. It's just one of those things that excites me about life. It's also been a while since I've updated you about the porch. You almost wouldn't recognize it. With all the plants being gone, I'm sure all of you kind of feel the same way as you're taking your plants in after the summer. But it's not quite windy yet, but you can definitely hear the storms are coming. One more shot, because obviously we have to get a shot of feeding one of our new little worms. Feeding this our first carnivorous plant together. I read through the instructions thoroughly. There's two little things in here. There's these little tiny pellets, and then there's this fly larvae. And this is what we're actually gonna drop into the pitcher. Whoops. And apparently you just drop, you know, 1 or 2 of these in every month or so. And that's how easy it is if you wanna keep these things inside. Or this larvae, I should say. And there it goes. Down in there somewhere, ready to be digested by our new pitcher plant. Cool, huh?